Welcome to the Butterfly Effect. I'm Chris Horner. This is stage 16 of the Vuelta, España, 180 kilometers, about 113 miles in length. Has one difficult obstacle in today's course, and it comes just under 80 kilometers to go. It's a 5-kilometer climb at 6.2%. Now, we know when we're talking about sprinter stages that have a climb somewhere between the middle to the end of the race that there's always going to be a little bit of excitement so that they can get rid of pure sprinters. And today, that fact will hold true. Now, when the racing starts, about 6 kilometers into it, a breakaway of 5 riders will go up the road. After that break of 5 went up the road, there was a crash back there that involved Enric Mas from Movistar. He'll get up and finish. Trek Segafredo rider Giulio Ciccone, though, will have to abandon today's race, along with Israel's startup nation Sepp van Mark. Now, 2 other riders that look like the walking dead on today's stage were the Euskaltel-Euskadi rider Jean Bo and Aritz from Caja Royal. Those 2 riders went down hard and they got exposed skin all over the place. Their jerseys tattered. Anytime when I've crashed early in the stage and you're missing your jersey like that, my biggest concern with that much skin exposed is just the sun beating down on that for 4.5 hours until you get to the finish. Now up front in that group of 5 that now has a 2-minute lead with about 95 kilometers to go when the cameras come on, we got Vizcarra from Euskaltel-Euskadi, Jesse Bull from Burgos BH, Stefan de Wolf AG2R, Claycy from Quebec, and Quinn Simmons Trek Segafredo. Those riders, like I said, are about 2-minute lead with about 95 kilometers to go. The problem is, once we get into under 80 kilometers to go, we're nearing that category 3 climb, and we know there's going to be some action. Now, all the sprinter teams back there, FDJ, Deceuninck Quick-Step, DSM, Alpecin Phoenix, they got the gap a little too close with 1:30, and it's Lotto Soudal that send up 2 riders. Van Gils and Harm van Honke are attacking, going up the climb. Harm van Honke will bridge across just after the summit to the lead group of 5, and now there's 6 up the road. Problem is, they don't got much time, only about 30 seconds, because UAE Team Emirates, Matteo Trentin's team, is on the front and drilling it, and the peloton is shattered. In the very back with Deceuninck Quick-Step is the sprinter Fabio Jakobsen back there. He's swarmed with 4 or 5 Deceuninck Quick-Step riders in front of him that are trying to get him back up to the front group. UAE Team Emirates are drilling up in front, and we got a drag race between them and Deceuninck Quick-Step and back. Deceuninck Quick-Step go over the top of a climb with about a 30-second disadvantage on the front of the UAE Team Emirates-led peloton. Deceuninck Quick-Step, though, are bombing the descent. We'll see splits back there as guys doing everything they can to try to hold on to Deceuninck Quick-Step's wheel. They'll latch back after about 25 kilometers of racing, and UAE Team Emirates, after they get back on the Deceuninck Quick-Step guys, UAE Team Emirates are still drilling it on the front. So I love their tactic going up the climb. I loved it going down the climb. But once Deceuninck Quick-Step latch back on, your job's over, UAE Team Emirates. You can sit up and get a free ride until you start doing the sprint for Matteo Trentin at the finish of today's stage. But instead, they're going 15 kilometers longer before finally they decide to hit the abort button. And then the sprinter teams get on the front to start chasing the 6 up front. Now, when all the sprinter teams get on the front, the 6 up front got about a 45 to 1 minute lead at different times throughout the finish of today's stage, and they'll get brought back with the last rider, De Wolf, who put on the biggest show at the finish of today's stage. He gets caught with about 5 kilometers to go with FDJ on front of the peloton. Now, I like FDJ's tactics here, riding from 5 kilometers into the finishing sprint with their guys. They don't have a whole team up there, so you know they can't get Arnaud Démare all the way into the finish. But if you can't beat a team like Deceuninck Quick-Step late in the race, you can keep your sprinter in perfect position and not having to worry about doing any accelerations and out of trouble. Now, they do a fabulous job, and they have a little bit of help from Bora Hansgrohe back there doing a pull with 1 guys with the FDJ train. Under 2 kilometers to go, it's time for Deceuninck Quick-Step to go back to work on today's stage. They didn't get much rest at any point in time on today's stage. And now with 2 kilometers to go, they got 4 guys on the front, 3 leading out their sprinter, Fabio Jakobsen. On his wheel, though, is Arnold Demar near the back end of the Fabio Jakobsen-led DeCoonick Quick-Step train. His last leadout guy for FDJ did a great job of pulling Arnold Demar up to Fabio's wheel and then jumping off and getting out of the way on the sidewalk. We'll see him there in the picture. Now with 1.3 kilometers to go, we're going to see the first look back from Bart van Leeuwenberg. Now remember, we go back to stage 13 when Florian Seneschal won that stage. It was put in the comments many times that when Fabio Jakobsen came up to Florian after the stage, he told Florian, hey, you have to look back to see where I am. So Bart van Leeuwenberg, he heard something. That rumor is probably true because Bart van Leeuwenberg with 1.3, he does a look back to see where Fabio Jakobsen is over his left shoulder there. He sees his sprinter back there, and now he keeps the team punching it on the front. With 1.1 kilometers going under 1K to go, it's Bike Exchange, Michael Matthews with 1 teammate that take over the front. Michael Matthews knows at this point in time that his teammate cannot get him all the way to the finish of today's stage. But we have a super tricky stage coming with 700 meters. When we get into 700 meters to go, it's lefts, followed by rights, followed by rights, left, right chicanes to 150 meters to go. So Bike Exchange got a good plan here, much like FDJ had back there at 5 kilometers to go. Keep them at the front, keep them out of trouble for as long as you can because we don't have the firepower to be able to beat a lead out like DeCoonick Quick-Step, but maybe we can cause a little chaos and leave Michael Matthews in the perfect position up front. With 900 meters to go, there's a slowing in the field, and Bart van Leeuwenberg, DeCoonick Quick-Step, he's a super domestique lead-out man. He knows, like every good super domestique and every sprinter knows, when there's a deacceleration in the front, there's going to be a swarm coming from the back. As soon as he feels that deacceleration, he'll jump on the pedals and pull sprinter Fabio Jakobsen out of trouble and keep him solidly at the front. Now with 700 meters to go, there's a left turn coming up. When they go into that turn, Fabio Jakobsen will lose the wheel of Bart van Leeuwenberg. As they come out, it's Bike Exchange on the front, Bart van Leeuwenberg and Fabio Jakobsen sitting behind Michael Matthews. I'm sure this wasn't in the plan, but now they got to change their plans fast as all sprinters do. With 600 meters to go, we get to see the next look back from Bart van Leeuwenberg. He'll look back, see that Fabio Jakobsen back there is still near the wheel and in good position, and he'll start to punch it. Now, going to the next left, this gets tricky at the next left because there's a solid bump there in the middle of the turn. And Jody Mayus, Bora Hansgrohe rider, hits that. And FDJ rider Arnold Demar hits that. When Arnold Demar hits that bump there, he was on the outside going into that turn. And now, all of a sudden, Arnold Demar is out of the picture. Up front, it's Bart van Leeuwenberg who does another look back over his shoulder. Now he sees he's got a gap and he's punching it, folks, as hard as he can. The 2 sprinters behind got no other choice. They got to start their sprint. It's Alexander Kruger on the left, Albacete Phoenix, and Jordi Mayus, Bora Hansgrohe now that have to start their sprint as they're drag racing down the back side of the course with about 500 meters to go. And the next right bend coming up at 400 meters to go. When we go into that bend with 400 meters, it's Alexander Kruger, Albacete Phoenix now, who jumps coming through that bend because we're getting ready to go into the chicane. Alexander Kruger is hoping his teammate back there, sprinter Sasha Modolo, somewhere close by, but I didn't see him give a look back to see. And now he's taking over the front with about 300 to 350 meters to go. As they're coming out of that right bend, they're going to go into a right, left, right chicane that's going to exit with 150 meters to go in today's race. While we're exiting the chicane on the right bend to the finish with 150 meters to go, Bora Hansgrohe rider Jordi Mayus that decides to start accelerating over Alexander Kruger on the outside. He's got Fabio Jakobsen on his wheel, and it's Matteo Trentin, followed by Michael Matthews, the Bike Exchange rider, who's done a great job of following wheels all the way through all these lefts, rights, and chicanes to the finish. It was mass chaos all the way coming out of the last right turn to the finish line. Now, Matteo Trentin is jumping out of the right turn as hard as he can and accelerating fast. Shortly after his acceleration, with about 100 meters to go, we'll see Fabio Jakobsen start his sprint, and at 75 meters to go, it's a drag race with, on the left side, Bora Hansgrohe, Jordi. In the center, it's Fabio Jakobsen, two-time stage winner already at this year's Vuelta, and it's his birthday. And on the right of him is Matteo Trentin. Now, shortly, 25 meters later, Matteo Trentin fades. Fabio Jakobsen starts to accelerate. Jordi Mayus, he can't follow the speed. Fabio Jakobsen takes his third win on his birthday at today's stage 16 of the Vuelta a España. Second on the stage, Bora Hansgrohe, Jordi Mayus. Third on the stage, Matteo Trentin with a bike throw holds off Michael Matthews from Bike Exchange to round out the podium on today's stage 16. Great stage, and it's fabulous when you compare it to stage 13, when there on that stage, Fabio Jakobsen was complaining that none of the Deceuninck Quickstep riders looked back to see where he was. Today's stage, Bert van Leeuwenberg never made that mistake and looked back multiple times throughout the last 2 kilometers to go. Now, the GC favorites with 150 meters to go, up close near the top 20, is Sepp Kuss, Egan Bernal, and Jack Haig, all marking each other all the way to the line. Red jersey race leader Eiking will finish safely in the front group and wear the red jersey starting tomorrow's massive mountain stage with a Special Summit finish. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, because tomorrow's going to be action-packed throughout the whole stage, and we're going to see how long Eiking can hold on to the jersey in tomorrow's stage, and whether or not, if Primoz Roglic goes on to the attack, or if he follows Movistar and the Ineos duel of Adam Yates and Egan Bernal all the way to the line. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you real soon.